Hi everyone, thanks for joining me for today's video. My name is David. This channel is Demar's Coaching, and this is another video about borderline personality disorder, specifically one of their worst fears. Anybody who's interested in watching more videos of mine that I make about this disorder, feel free to watch the playlist Borderline Personality Disorder. How the borderline's worst fears come to fruition. So, their worst fear is actually a diagnostic trait out of the DSM. Frantic efforts to avoid real or imagined abandonment. Okay? Perceived. Not necessarily something that you or I may be doing. Okay? It's pervasive. A personality disorder, these traits are pervasive almost all the time, if not all the time, frequent. Always arising, surfacing, always the main focus, maybe. They're abandoned, okay? This comes from our experiences. Fears, stuff like this, typically come from our experiences, bad ones. And I believe people with borderline personality disorder have very, very much problems, difficulties with attachment in their life, if not attachment disorders. They're hypervigilant, okay? They don't know what to do. They don't know how to prevent this. And it becomes a pattern. And borderlines will be re-traumatized. Borderlines unhealed have unhealed trauma and will be frequently re-traumatized, triggering. They lack self-resilience. That's very important, these things here. There's 4 of them. They've been abandoned experiences. Hypervigilant, always looking for someone that might abandon them, right? Trying to avoid it. Lacking the self-resilience. And it may be the same thing, lacking object constancy. Object constancy is the ability to believe that a relationship is stable and intact despite setbacks and conflict, things like this, that we're going to be okay. The relationship is okay. Fears can become phobias when we are forced to live with our fears in our life, but don't know how to stay safe. Makes sense, doesn't it? We become so hypervigilant that these become phobias. When in fact, we can handle things. We can lose people. We will lose people. We will lose attachments. We draw our fears closer this way, don't we? We've heard that, right? We can push what we desire away, and we can draw our fears closer. We can find what we're looking for. Isn't that right? Think of the most craziest idea you've ever heard of, and you'll go find some evidence on the internet that supports that idea, can't you? Borderlines fear losing attachment. They fear losing that attachment they formed with you. Afraid to be alone, afraid to grieve, afraid to lose you. Fear of abandonment forever. With their attachment difficulties, this causes major stress, hypervigilance, again. The unhealed borderline cannot reassure themselves, lacking self-resilience, enters relationships, attaches too quick. A lot of people like this will think that the way to not lose someone is to attach as fast as possible. Fears losing that attachment. Paranoia can set in. Perceived abandonment from people in relationships. It's a defense mechanism. But this causes them to accuse you, right? Constantly needing that reassurance that they cannot supply themselves. I've made videos about this before, guys. If we have problems big enough, they will cause problems in our relationships. If I can't reassure myself, then I can't expect someone else to be able to successfully reassure me in a relationship, okay? They will either abandon. That is common. Common for someone that has that fear of abandonment to just abandon first. Borderlines commonly will abandon relationships truly believing that they were going to be abandoned, or they already were abandoned and they were not. or not going to. The other partner has no idea what they're talking about. Or they'll sabotage. They will sabotage this relationship. Imagine pushing you all the time, accusing you all the time, having to be accountable for every second of your life. Cannot self-regulate their emotions, and they act out every emotion. Fear. They act this out. Looking for things like looking for outside or external validation from people, other people, triangulating, eventually sabotaging the relationship, and the re-traumatizing, and the supporting another bad experience of what they believe was abandonment. Could be a cycle. The good thing is that people with this disorder can be healed. There's lots of success with this. So don't keep torturing yourself if you have this disorder. If you think you have this disorder, go find out with a mental health professional. Get help, okay? If you've been a victim, or you are currently a victim, or you're in these relationships, kind of like what I described, seek help. Anybody that wants coaching, you can find me at daviddemars.com, okay? Ask questions down below in the comment section. Let me know what you think of this video and this topic. There's a lot of people with this disorder, a ton of people undiagnosed and untreated. I think the numbers are much, much higher than are reported. Regardless, you don't need to have borderline personality disorder to have a real fear of abandonment. That's more common than that disorder. Much more people have a fear of abandonment like this. I think that abandonment for people with this disorder, and possibly people with fear of abandonment, started right after birth, childbirth, started right in the beginning of life with attachment difficulties from the mother. They didn't attach. I don't think they did. I don't think the mom did. I don't think the mom bonded with that child necessarily. There's problems with that. Something happened, interference. And again, I can't stress more. There are things we must be able to do to be able to enter relationships. And one of them is emotional security, reassuring ourselves, being able to have object constancy. If you can't do these things, you're having difficulties doing these things, get help doing it. And don't start just destroying your relationships. These bad experiences pile up on each other, you know? And that's why a common trait of someone you might want to watch out for in a red flag is these types of relationships, unstable, start and stop, off and on, many of them. Okay, let me know what you guys think. Ask questions, okay? Always love yourself first. If you want coaching, daviddemars.com. If you liked the video, thumbs up, thumbs down. If you didn't, tell me why down below. Thanks. Bye, guys.